You read about 200 plus books a year. Listen, when you posted that on LinkedIn, I was just like, okay, seriously, how? How is that possible? If you're working 18 hours a day, where do you even get the time to have a book? Like, how long does a book take you?
So I learned in law school, I'm a faster reader. I had to
Okay.
learn that. I learned that my second year of law school because I was a slow reader starting off in law school. And it was like, oh, I'm not going to make it. And thank God by the middle of second year, it finally clicked in. My ability to read became exceedingly rapid. Right. What I would say is most of my books are, if you turn the regular reading length, between 6 to 11 hours. I'm able to get them done in about 2 to 3 hours, wrapping them up in 2 to 3 hours. But I count that reading time as part of your work time for me, especially as a CEO, especially as a leader, especially as somebody who gives advice to other people. It is my job to sharpen my sword, right? A lot of us just want to start hacking away at the tree instead of sharpening the axe first and spending 2 to 3 hours. And then only, as Abraham Lincoln said, spending most of the time sharpening the axe rather than hacking at the tree. That's how I look at reading. And in order to fulfill the goals that I have for myself and my family and my company, I really have to push myself. And that's why it's that 200 hours, because I have a good friend, Dale Ferdinand. And one of the things he said when I started this journey is that it takes about 250 books to become an expert in something. So a lot of life is, especially if you're trying to reach your goals, is about compressing the time to get there. Right? And how can you compress the time? Can you read more books? But that's not for everyone. There's actually another really good friend of mine in Buka who he's come around to it a bit, but he's very anti how many books I read. He has a different process. And so that's why I say it's not for everyone. He has a different process. And I think Bob Proctor would even back him up a bit on this. He has a different process where he'll read one book, but he'll read it 100 times. So he knows it inside and out. So I wouldn't say that reading that much is for everyone. I do suggest reading a lot, but maybe you want to read a few great books over and over again, where I really think investing in these books, because it's essentially people who have lived amazing lives, accomplished the things we want to accomplish.
Yeah.
They've distilled their life into a $20 to $25 product, where if we were consulting them, it would probably cost $50,000 to $100,000. So I think it's a phenomenal investment in both in terms of the money you're spending and the time you're utilizing.
Are you ever going to write your own book?
At first, I was like, no. I was thinking, no. I think there's a lot of phenomenal books. However, if I think I can provide a unique insight that it's really needed, or maybe it's not even a unique insight, it's just that I have to reiterate a few points, because maybe I'll be able to have a platform that can reach a few people that they would want to hear from me versus hearing it from somebody else. That's something I would consider. But it would have to be up to my quality standards. So we'll see. Nothing's in mind right now is the short answer.
Do you have any favorite books that you would like to share with us that,
I have a ton of favorite books. It's funny. Somebody asked me this a few weeks ago. I was at the Columbia Africa conference. My friend Boosie introduced me to one of her good friends who's doing some phenomenal stuff in, I think, Morocco. And she asked me, what are the top 5 or 10 books I read this year? And I couldn't name it. I really couldn't name it, because I can name my favorite books, but once you start reading a lot, let me posit it like this. When you read a few books, you find that, wow, almost every book is changing your life. And I'm not saying that doesn't continue happening, but a lot of what you're experiencing, and the books have great insight, but a lot of what is the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? So we read something or we learn something and we think we're an expert at it, right? That's like, hey, you go from 0 to 1 and you're like, oh, this is the mountaintop.
Yeah.
But then you read 50 more and you're like, wait, I was so far from the answer. No, that doesn't mean the book wasn't still phenomenal. It was. But some phenomenal books Unreasonable Hospitality. It's the book about how they created the #1 restaurant in New York, kept that for about 4 years running. And I actually took my wife there for our 2nd anniversary, and it was phenomenal. I love the book. So this is less business, but I love to read people's stories, especially it's business but success. Trevor Noah. I could not believe, what is it called? Born a Crime. I think I read that 2 years ago. I could not believe his story.
Oh, I'm yet to read that book, actually. One of my friends actually sent it to me, and it's in my my book list to read. Everybody talks about his story a lot.
God, I'm not going to spoil it, but it almost brought me to tears in terms of just it was something. And you look at people and you realize you really don't know almost anybody's story till they tell you. You really have no idea. I know there's a new Elon Musk book, but I loved his book, SpaceX. Was it SpaceX? By Ashley, other books. I like 10X by Grant Cardone. Traction, that's a phenomenal book for business owners by Gino Wickman. If you can just read that book and build your business around it, it's going to put you light years ahead. Traction. The book Angel, for the people who want to do angel investing, the book Angel was a phenomenal book. I can go on forever. It really depends what you're looking for, but there are a ton of amazing books out there.